Okay, friends, so now that we've tried drawing a few different types of dinosaurs, I want you to choose one that we're going to make a colorful painting out of. I'm going to choose Stegosaurus, and so I'm remembering how to draw him. And then I'm looking at some of the books that we read. I love this story because it shows the dinosaurs realistically, but also a little bit of a cartoon feeling to it, and it shows all the different patterns. So I'm going to let you choose any crazy colors you want for your dinosaur. You don't have to stick to the realistic colors, but I do want you to look for different patterns that you might have seen in your dinosaur. You know, is he one color on his top and his belly's a different color? Does he have spikes that could be a different color, or horns? Because we will add color to these, but first I want to do my Stegosaurus sketch, and I'm going to draw lightly, so it's going to be a little hard for you to see, but I want it to be easy for me to erase. So remember, he starts with the taco shape. I'm going to put his head up, and then his legs, his tail. Maybe I'll try curving it a little bit this time. And then his spikes. And remember, they get bigger towards the top and smaller towards the bottom. And if you feel comfortable drawing a different dinosaur, go for it. You don't have to follow these directions. But I wanted to show you how we're going to add just simple details with pencil. Erase any lines we don't need. Remember where the shapes connect. We can erase now. And then we're going to use oil pastel. So kind of sometimes we would use a Sharpie, and today we're going to use oil pastel. Any color you want. I think a dark color is nice. Maybe a dark blue, because you can see it really well. I'm going to use this like I would a Sharpie to outline and go over all my pencil lines. And make sure you can see this. This is easier to see than the pencil, right? So just outlining, not coloring in yet. I made him as big as I possibly could on the page. I think I'm going to keep this line, but I guess you could have erased it too. I want to make those triangles a different color. So now I'm looking at the patterns, and I noticed that he had this really cool pattern that kind of look like spots here. I'm going to change it a little bit. This is my dinosaur design. I don't have to be super scientific about it right now. Just making an illustration. So I'm making up my own shapes here. I wonder what you'll do on yours. And notice for this part, I'm coloring in. So I outlined with one shape, with one color. And then I'm choosing some areas that I want to color in, probably the smaller areas that will be harder to paint. Like it feels like those are going to be hard to paint. And see how the oil pastel smudges a little bit? That's okay, we're going to paint it. It's okay if it gets a little bit messy. But it's a good idea to have a piece of paper underneath when we're painting. Your bigger piece of paper that was folded in half in your art bag, that one is going to protect the table that you're working on, okay? Because remember, if you're not in the art room, you have to be a little more careful about where you're working so you keep things clean. So Mom will let you keep making art. All right, we're doing crazy colors, so I'm choosing not to go all the way inside the triangle. I'm going to color that with paint, I think. It's fun to just choose colors as you go. These triangles are small. I can only fit a dot inside there. Okay, I think that's all I want to do for my oil pastel. I think everything else I can paint. So with your watercolors, remember that you do want quite a bit of water. They are watercolors. They need that water. What color shall I use? I do like green for dinosaurs. So I'm going to get some green with lots of water. Remember, you can also start with water on your painting. I got a little drip, that's okay. And then get the paint to keep it really fluid. Remember, Oil and water don't mix. So that's the cool thing about oil pastel. That's why we call it a resist. You might get little tiny bits of the oil pastel in there. That's okay. Adds a cool texture. Remember, lots of water. If your paint looks kind of scratchy like this, kind of dry, just add a little more water. It will remelt. But the oil pastel is going to kind of work like a dam. You want to keep that watercolor inside your shape. And you might have to be patient. Maybe go take a little snack break while the dinosaur dries, and then come back and do the background because we don't want them to blend, right? And you can have a paper towel or a napkin. If you get any little spots you don't want, that's the best eraser for watercolor. Okay, now I'm gonna add a warm color to go around here. But be careful, because look what happens right here. If I get the red into the green, it might make a yucky brown I don't want. See how it's bleeding right there? That's when it's a good idea to let it dry. I'm gonna keep going so I can show you all the steps. But patience is such a good thing to have as an artist, and you can let it dry before you do the background. It'll only take 10 minutes probably. Okay, what do you think of my crazy color dinosaur so far? I think I'm gonna do the background yellow. I bet you thought I was gonna say blue. We use blue for the background a lot, don't we? So, I'm going right up to the oil pastel, but trying not to touch the green, because then it will become yellow-green, and I don't think I want that. So I might even leave a tiny bit of white space in between the oil pastel, the blue line, and the yellow. I might even leave a little bit of space if it's still wet. I think it kind of looks cool with the white around it. What do you guys think? Will you leave white or will you let it dry? I can't wait to see. Okay, so all the way around. And remember, if you want to do this with me, you can go back and pause the video and just go at your own pace, because I'm going pretty fast right now, just to show you all the steps. Okay, so remember, use the tip of the brush, hold on to the squishy part. Be gentle with your sweeping strokes. Stay on your mess mat. That's the paper behind your paper. And it's gonna curl a little bit. Remember how watercolor paper does that? When we go to put it in the drying rack, it curls a little bit. Just let it curl. Leave it right there if you can till it's dry. And when it's dry, if it's still curling, you can put it under some heavy books. But see why it's good to have that paper underneath? So I didn't get that on my table. All right, that's it. Have fun.